All right, everybody, welcome to our second inspiring soul seat. So, Mr. Fred Whitley of the Soul of America tours, he could not be here today, and we may have the founders of the Inspire Foundation to drop in, but today is a very special day because we have Miss Erin Brown all the way from Nassau, Bahamas, and she has a very inspirational and inspiring story to share with us. So, Miss Erin Brown, we just want to say welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so
Welcome.
much.
And I have a few words up here that I kind of grabbed from off the media. We did our little research on you, and we see that you're an advocate. You are an island gal, right?
Yes, yes.
A cancer survivor, and
Mhm.
also a Olympian.
Paralympian.
Yes, yes. Um, I think we have a few guests trying to come in, so we're gonna just allow them to come in real quick.
Awesome.
Welcome, welcome. If you are logged in, we are recording. If you want to have your screen um, blocked out, or make sure your mic is muted if you're not speaking. I think we may have lost. I'll try again later. All right, let's go back. So again, we are here with Miss Erin Brown, and she has a very powerful story that she's going to share with us. I just want to remind everybody that the Inspiring Soul Seat, the whole objective of this is to inspire and fill someone with the urge or ability to do or feel something, especially to do something creative. Okay.
Mm.
Yes. So, Miss Erin Brown, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, thank you so much. I'm enjoying these pictures. So I am a also a disability inclusion consultant. I'm a short, blonde-haired black female wearing blue tinted glasses. My pronouns are she and her, and I self-identify as a limb difference individual, also known as an above the knee amputee. And yes, I am an island gal. I'm originally from the island of Grand Bahama. So I moved to the
Nice.
capital around when I was about 15 years old, and I've been here since. But I am absolutely the most, well, I consider myself the most simple, solar powered, mango, coconut, water loving island gal. And so persons always look at me and say, "There's nothing simple about you." So let's not practice saying that. But it's authentically who I am. I am absolutely about movement,
Mm,
creativity. I'm about innovation, and I'm about doing. I love to meet new persons, engage in conversations, and also to give you a more, I guess, flexible representation of what disability looks like, how to
mm.
experience inclusive spaces, because for so long, we haven't had that representation, in the public and media of a
Okay.
woman with a disability, a person with a disability, a professional, an
Yes, yes,
activist.
yes.
And so we have our own unconscious biases when we have the word disability. And so for me, I am a representation that disability is not a bad word. And I self-identify as living with one.
Wow, wow, wow. I think we have another guest coming in. There we go. All right. Please have your
Hello.
mics
Hey,
muted as you
girl,
log
you
in.
looking
But before
good.
you move, please introduce yourself. We have Miss Tanya Hanna from the Inspire Foundation.
Yes.
Well, yes.
Hey, all right. So we are having a interview session with Miss Erin Brown, all the way from Grand Bahama, but she's in Nassau, Bahamas right now.
Yes. And let's not forget, I am a board of director for the Inspire Foundation as well. that foundation is very dear to my heart.
Awesome. Awesome. Awesome.
The volume is low.
Let's see. Is this better?
How do I increase my volume?
Try, I would say turning up your volume on your device. Check the settings.
I'm looking at the settings right now.
So we may be having a little bit technical difficulties, but as that is happening, we're going to kind of push forward.
Yes.
And what I wanted to ask you was two questions. Because when I read your story, I saw that you were a cancer survivor.
Yes.
So I wanted to know, how long have you been a cancer survivor? And then the second question is, what was high school like for you?
Ooh.
And do you feel like you would be in this status today?
Well, I was diagnosed in 2004 with osteosarcoma stage 4, which is also known as bone cancer.
Okay.
It had already eaten away my knee, and it was attacking my muscles in my thigh. And so for me, what I had to do was aggressive chemotherapy, and it resulted into an amputation. And so after receiving that amputation, for me, it shifted me. I almost want to say, we term cancer, when we hear cancer, we say, oh no, I'm not going to make it. This isn't a good thing. But for me, cancer was my transition. Cancer was my shifting into my purpose. My cancer journey was not only a very unique one, but it was a very soul-searching one. Due to my mother passing from lupus I was about, I would say 17, hence why I moved to Nassau, because she was sick. But high school for me, it's a love-hate relationship. Absolutely love-hate relationship. And here's why. I grew up in Grand Bahama. And so high school for me started off at St. Paul's Methodist College. And then when in 1992, I moved to Freeport Anglican High, which is now Bishop Eldon High School. And I feel like that transition was very triggering for me, because I started at St. Paul's and I was there from grade 5. And then I came to Freeport High. And so I entered into a classroom where all of these students was also with their grouping from a very early on age, right? So I'm the new girl.
Trying to fit in.
Yeah, I'm the new girl. I'm also one of the tallest in my class. I've always been the tallest female in my classrooms, due to my dad being 6'4" and my mom being 5'11". I kind of had to combine two, right? But what was great for me was because I played sports. I've always been civically involved. I was always a people's person. It was just a very constant reminder when we came in and we're talking about stuff, and they're remembering things way before I came, and I'm just catching up. But it was a really good, I felt like Freeport Anglican High, and they really craft for me that experience of being a transfer student in such a positive way.
Okay.
I know that I was trying to fit in, but I think that lasted maybe the first week or two. And it's high school and everybody's literally trying to fit in. Even if you knew everybody from a long time, everybody is figuring out each other, finding their groupings. And so because I was an athlete, I highly enjoyed my high school. I tried softball for the first time, didn't work. That's when I got my first sports injury. I literally was not listening, and that ball passed my mitt and hit me straight in my throat. And I went, oh, maybe this is not for me. And so I did not continue with that sport. I tried basketball. Basketball was at a time that was coming up as well. And I didn't like it then either, because females were just getting into it. And so it was more of a fight rather than fundamentals.
Okay.
And so I stick to track and field and volleyball. And I know, right? And to this day, I'm kind of still caught in the two, even though I'm an above the knee amputee. And so the funny thing is, when my mom was diagnosed and we recognized she had to move to Nassau, I actually stayed in Grand Bahama. And when I stayed in Grand Bahama, I moved with one of our church friends, one of my mom's church friends, and me and her daughter was always very, we were friends because we did sign language together. We were in youth choir. We did everything basically together. So I was happy that, I had like a unlimited number of sleepovers, right? And but they became my family. They are like my family, big brother, big sister, little brother, little sister, mom and dad, family unit. Their family became my family. My kids know them. I know their kids. But then I had to leave and move to Nassau. And so then once again, I was the new girl.
You back at square one.
I was the new girl. But I was uniquely the new girl in a different way now, because now this is the last semester of grade 10. And so I was coming in at the tail end of grade 10. And I was the new girl from Grand Bahama. And for those who are maybe new to the Bahamas, it's 700 islands and keys. Grand Bahama is separate from New Providence, Nassau, and Cat Island, and so on and so forth. But each have different cultures and the way we engage with persons. So for them, me coming in, it was like, oh, here's this Grand Bahamian coming in here. She's probably going to think she knows everything.
She know everything.
Yeah, she knows everything. And, she's probably going to act a certain way. And I think I surprised them because I didn't grow up with those stereotypes. I actually didn't know it existed until I came to Nassau and they were asking me like really strange questions. Like, so do you do this in Grand Bahama, or are you like that? And I was like, really? That's what y'all think about Grand Bahamian? So I think I gave them a different perspective of, even though that exists, there are persons who are just all about nation building. Like, I'm a Bahamian at the end of the day. It don't matter what island I'm on. I'm a Bahamian, right? But during that time, I continued to play sports. I got heavily into civic involvement. So Key Club, I was introduced to Key Club. I was introduced to Rotaract. I was introduced to a lot of community civic involvement groupings, which I was used to doing because my mom was in ministry and civic involvement, and my dad was also grassroots community nation building and political movements. And so I fit right in very easily, so easily that I became deputy head girl of the class of 1998. Despite coming in there, not everybody was happy about it, but in there at a later time. So my high school was very kind of, it was woo, and other times it was and but most part of it, I feel like I was able to flex some muscles and develop a different perspective of life, because those years from 15 to 18, 12, I would say to 18, are your most formidable years with your friendships. So I literally was kind of starting over again and then again. And I figure, and I felt like because of that, I take people for who they are. I'm not I don't assume a lot. I don't think because you're from here, you're from there, you're going to act a certain way. And it's because I've been exposed to those kind of narratives, and I've lived through that.
Wow. I would say you shared quite a lot. And for our students and I would say audience here in the US, it's very relatable because basically what you were, I would say, showing us is that as a young person, as you're growing up, there's a lot of transitional changes you're going through,
Yes.
right? And one thing that I grabbed that helped you was being involved in various activities, having that experience.
Mhm.
You were very open and I would say people person. So not a lot of people have that skill, but by being involved in all those different activities, it kind of helps you bridge those
Yeah.
gaps.
Yeah, but
So
that's
that
how
is
I was
very
able
interesting.
to bridge it through engagement because I wasn't
Mhm.
always a people's person. Like I said, I grew up with my parents always and everything. And so therefore I'm just tagging along. And most of the times I remember questioning them like, y'all doing too much. like like what is happening? Like why is this important? Like don't because my mom would take food of our homes and give it to persons. My
Mhm.
dad would support persons that he didn't even know, all because of the premises he saw the potential in them. They had a dream, they took the initiative, and they just needed a little bit of help. And even though at that time in high school I was looking at them with the what's going on I do the same thing today. I absolutely move in that same motion because I understand it. When I acquired a disability as well, I also
Mm.
understood that not everybody is living in an equitable place. And equity speaks to instead of giving everybody the same thing,
Mhm.
you're giving them each person what they
What they need.
need, right?
Mhm.
And so when I acquired a disability, all of my access just disappeared. I mean, when my leg was removed, I woke up to a different world. And that was very reflective of, okay, Erin, so we're moving. Because no parent is give us heads up. They don't tell you weeks in advance that, okay, we're going to move to another island, you're going to move to another school. They just let you know, okay, so this is your last day here, right? And so I kind of lean on those experiences too. When I was diagnosed with bone cancer and having to amputate my leg, it was like another step in my journey. And
Mm.
everything that had happened prior to it, the good, the bad, the ugly, was my preparation.
Just building a foundation.
Yeah.
Oh man. Awesome. Awesome. So, what advice would you give a middle and high school student? Because you shared how you were able to grasp all of the experiences that you partaked in or that had you had encounter with. How would you approach a middle school and a high school student and tell them, hey, these are some things that can possibly help you?
Yes. And so the first thing I would absolutely want to share with you is you are important. Whether you are in middle school, whether you're in high school, junior school, whether you have found your reason why you do things, you've connected with persons around you or spaces in a very unique way that fills you up. If you have done that or have not done that yet, you are still important. And I say that because we get our value off of persons saying you're doing well. I'm so proud of you. I'm so glad that you stick that out. Oh, I didn't expect that of you. Oh, I just knew that you would do that. And sometimes we don't hear that at all, or we hear all of the
Mm.
no's. No, why did you do that? Why would you think that way? Why would you say that? And it makes you feel that you're not really doing anything right. But guess what? That is the process of growth. That is the process of learning your likes, your dislikes, of finding your voice. And your voice is important. And this is why I love having conversations, especially in these type of creative spaces. Because in the creative spaces, whether it's music, performing arts, drawing, whether it is graphic designs, whatever it
Mhm.
is that you're interested in doing, I want you to recognize that that is your superpower. Can you give me one moment?
Oh, go ahead. Go
Oh,
ahead. And we're gonna pause.